What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with your host Comp. And
Madame Flurry.
today's film is
The Boy.
The Boy, a 2015 horror/psychological thriller. It's about an intimate portrait of a 9-year-old sociopath's growing fascination with death, directed by Craig William McNeil, written by Craig William McNeil and Clay McLeod Chapman. Clay McLeod? Is that how you spell it?
I wonder if he's related to Fox McCloud.
Stars David Morse, Rainn Wilson, Jared Breeze. This film was getting a lot of buzz in plenty of festivals that were playing this year. Was that right English? Oh my God! Even asking the question,
was that right English?
So anyway, it's a film based on a short, which was, I think, radically different. Based on the chapter "The Henley Road Motel" and the novel "Miss Corpus" by so blah 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 from the novel.
Was the short also by Spectre Vision or whatever?
No, I'm a little confused here. Maybe that's why Spectre Vision picks it up, because usually films that play in festivals, so I'm sure the short played in festivals, because the short actually was on either Indiegogo or a Kickstarter campaign, and it got funded, and I think that, got the short done, and maybe that's how Spectre Vision saw it and put the money into it, because usually that's how shorts tend to turn into long feature films.
That's just the most interesting thing. I just learned something about how short films become.
The film takes place in the summer of 1989. It took me a while to understand that was the case, but I think I got to it for some reason. I think it was more of the prom sequences or
the music
and stuff like that. Anyway, I remember seeing the poster for this film and reading about it, and it's just it had the vibe to me of Cub, the poster at least. Remember Cub, that movie we saw a while back?
I could see
that.
Like,
okay, it was like it's a sociopath kid who's like just killing people, but it's not like that until the very end. So spoilers from on.
I mean, there's definitely something wrong with him.
What kind of film is this, Danny?
It is a very slow film.
Mm-hmm.
But
did it take you out of it, or did you find it interesting enough to keep going on? Or were you?
I mean, it was a bit of a struggle. I got to say, it was a little too slow for me, actually. But I mean, it is good, and I don't know why this was too slow, but like the other one we just did, Goodnight Mommy, wasn't too slow, even though they're both slow. I don't know, but yeah,
I thought they were about equal in slowness.
A lot of like.
I complained about it. You didn't with Goodnight Mommy, so.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's a lot of like sitting outside and there's like bugs and shit and just like dirty things. That's it. Like pretty much like slow shots of like hot summer days in the South or something. So this is filmed in Colombia. I found out.
So let's get into this film. How does this movie start out?
It starts out. What is the first shot?
It's at a sort of rundown hotel.
Okay, yeah.
By the way, what's the difference between a motel and a hotel? Do you know?
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
Right. So this kid lives with his father at this sort of Nowheresville motel that's like right off of I guess not a highway. It's more off of like a. What would you say, like a dusty, long road or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where this is supposed to be, but, I don't know, it kind of reminded me when I drove through Montana. Okay. Like, the feeling of it, like, it's just like, where the fuck am I? Like, there's nothing.
It definitely has that Nowheresville approach to it. So the father is played by David Morse, an actor. You'd see him in a lot of films. I remember him from Green Mile, really. He's in a lot of films. He's one of that guy actors.
The dad is, well, first of all, it's Mount Vista Motel, so Mount Vista seems to be in
Is that
Washington.
California or something? Is it Washington?
Actually, I'm seeing it's in Washington, so maybe this is in Washington State. But in any case, what the hell? Oh yeah, that guy is like the most evil guy in fucking Dancer in the Dark, that movie with Bjork.
Yeah, you always talk about that film. Like, I've never seen that movie, but I've only seen the ending and
it's
laughed
like
out loud.
Oh, you're such an asshole. It's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. Like, it's one of the only movies that make me cry.
Oh, he was in one of the official The Dark Tower movies, Hearts in Atlantis. So if you want to see a character from a Stephen King Dark Tower movie. It's called Hearts in Atlantis. So he's in that movie. I don't know.
I'm just gonna wait for the actual never coming.
Also,
Dark
he was
Tower.
in The Rock. That's why he was in The Rock. I remembered him in The Rock. That was a fun movie. It was a Michael Bay movie, so you might have loved that movie as well. Even though you love Tom Cruise as well, just like you told me before we started recording.
Come on.
Anyway, so he was also in The Good Son, a movie that you also suggested. Anyway, so this boy lives with his dad. The boy is played pretty convincingly by Jared Breeze. What did you think of Jared Breeze's performance in this movie?
That's the little boy. He's he plays a really annoyingly convincing, disturbed little boy. I wanted to fucking kill him, and then when that guy kicks him at one point, I cheered. I was so happy.
Really, I hated that. I hated all those prom kids actually.
No, I was happy they died too, but my God, I wanted to kill that kid when he stole the guy's ashes, when he stole Dwight Schrute's ashes.
Oh yeah, Rainn Wilson. Well, Rainn Wilson, if anybody knows that name alone, he is the actor he played Dwight Schrute on that show.
It's so
The
funny
Office.
to see him in a role not like that. I mean, I know he's been in a whole bunch of other stuff, but he is Dwight Schrute in my mind. So
there's just something about that actor myself that I was like, oh, I can't stand him in movies. He's kind of the epitome of, and this is just me off of his performances on film, because I'm very sure he's a very nice guy off camera and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, what solidified, because I never watched The Office really,
Right.
but what solidified him for me and how he acts and kind of what audience he caters to was this movie called Juno. Do you remember Juno? That movie with this girl?
I actually never saw it. It looked really pretentious.
Oh, it really is. It is. It's about this girl. I mean, it's still got some. It's pretty good filmmaking itself. But he plays this guy who's talking to Juno. She's a teenager that gets pregnant and whatever. The whole film. The movie has Michael Cera, so you already know what kind of movie it is. And he's like, "Did somebody knock up your noodle? Or your noodle?" He uses it's a really pretentious line, so hip. That movie's like real hipster. It's almost the Royal Tenenbaums and stuff like that. Imagine
I like the Royal Tenenbaums actually, but
I know,
you're right.
But it's still sort of the hipsterness works for that type of film. Do you know what I mean? Because it almost feels like a storybook. Those type of movies, and they almost feel cartoonish, the characters in those movies. This one, he was a total it was such a total hipster line. And for some reason, that's why it stuck with me, and I can't stand him in movies. But this one I liked him in, because he was playing more of a real person in this movie, who apparently, what we find out later, he's this guy who gets into a car accident because...
We don't know that he actually killed his wife?
No, I don't think he did kill his wife at all. I think, because he kind of says, I couldn't save her. That's what he says. He doesn't say, I killed her or anything like that. He could have easily probably done that, or he was either... covering for himself for no reason, because he wasn't, necessarily.
Well, he's not going to tell a little kid,
anyway.
"I killed my wife."
Right. But apparently, what I kind of liked the direction of the film, that it didn't have to treat us like children watching it. You know what I mean? It was kind of a lot of stuff was implied. When the kid is paid by his father to pick up roadkill from the street. Mm-hmm. Or from the road, and then throw it away, and then he slowly starts putting food on the road for animals to come and get it, and it's not specifically stated. He doesn't go, maybe I should do this. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. Although that voice would have been great, right? Yippee! This is power ride. Yippee! That's your line. And so he does that, and what happens is the deer or buck gets in the middle of the road, and Dwight Schrute's, his character, Rainn Wilson's character, playing William Colby, his car hits the deer, and he gets to an accident.
This fucking kid ruined this guy's life. His wife just died. He's fucking hitting a thing of garbage and a deer because of this little shit kid, and now he's stealing his fucking ashes. He's in a whole
the kid is a little fucking brat. It is true. The kid is a fucking brat. There's no question about it. He's
I
even
feel so
worse
bad
than a brat.
for him. He's lonely. Someone should kick that kid in the head.
But
hard.
the whole film really is this sort of look into this little sociopath's life, the beginnings of it. Because apparently his father, who was running this hotel, his wife left him and the kid with some random trucker that stayed at the hotel, which shows you how much of a... to Florida, and he's just saving money to kind of get out of here and get to Florida. But God knows what kind of relationship he'll have with his mother when he gets over there if she's able to fucking abandon her family with her, her son and her husband. Because if she doesn't get with her husband, I can understand that.
Well, I like the fantasy that the trucker guy won't take his shit and will, like, beat the kid or something all the time.
Right. So, and the husband is sort of like the sad sack. Maybe it's because, he's been with this hotel his whole life. We don't really know much about his character other than he's sort of a drunk and kind of a sorry guy. You know what I mean? And that's probably why the wife left him, because he's probably just living in this boring existence. And the kid, sees this and he's just kind of sick of this lifestyle. It's just nothing. You're staying... the kid is like on a permanent vacation, but that's all he knows. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a life.
It does seem really boring, of course.
Because he'll go out into that little shack on the side with his pet rabbit and stuff like that, and it really is a slow burning thing. Like, I complained about it in Goodnight Mommy, but I wouldn't really complain about it here, even though it probably is equally as boring because it is just a kid kind of walking around.
Goodnight Mommy didn't bore me though. This did
I know. So it's like the opposite. This didn't bore me, but it bored you, and then the opposite happened with Goodnight Mommy. But I think it's an interesting character study for a kid, because the kid is... I mean, we're not seeing anything form the kid turn into whatever he does at the end of the film. It's really more of, like, his day-to-day life sort of thing.
And also,
do you think
like...
that works for you, or no?
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I understand. And it really does give you the feeling like you're seeing, like, future Ted Bundy or something. Like
a deterioration or something like that.
Yeah, like, you're watching, like, this kid is going to be, like, a serial killer when he's older. Like, it seems very believable. But, like, I don't know, like, with the kids in Goodnight, I kept comparing in my brain.
Right, yeah.
We just happen to watch 2 movies about, like, messed up children. But, like, this kid's, like, a sociopath, little fucking asshole. I hate him. But the kid in Goodnight Mommy, I didn't hate him at all. I felt bad for him because he was.
Yeah, they had reasons in Goodnight Mommy why they had it, because
he's
thought
like
that
disturbed.
They were sort of
he's
being
not
invaded.
like a bad person. This kid's like a bad person. Like, I want to fucking grab him by his throat.
He's obviously wired wrong, or however you see it, because there are parts, and it's effectively creepy. I think some parts.
It's the teacher's fault. I blame the teachers.
Anyway, I remember it's all those gun laws in America. Anyway. But I remember telling you that there was going to be a part that creeped you out. It's like the part where he sort of stands in the middle of the night. He'll stand over somebody while they're sleeping and just start looking at them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty effectively creepy. I think that happens about half an hour into the film, and because I wasn't sure this was a horror film. I mean, technically it really isn't. It's more of a character study with horror elements, I think.
Right.
But it's certainly towards the last half. Like it's funny because
it's pretty fucking dark.
It is like a nearly 2-hour film, and for the first like hour and 18 minutes, it's sort of like or an hour and an hour and a half. It's sort of like the psychological film, and then at the end of it turns into like a sort of a weird slasher film.
It kind of like did he didn't like shoot Rainn Wilson? Did he like
no
like,
Rainn Wilson fell into
that I saw,
trap,
but then
right.
It looked like he had like blood coming out of his chest or something at one point. Like
no, I think what happened is the kid looked at the hole earlier, and the hole was just full of trash, like metal and stuff like that.
Oh,
so what I'm thinking is what Rainn Wilson fell into it. He got impaled or something, and he was just slowly dying, which is fucked up. Yeah, Rainn Wilson obviously when I think he was cross country traveling with his wife's ashes. I don't know whether he was going to spread them or just keep them. Apparently, he was obviously disturbed by what had happened to his wife, whether he had done it or not. I don't think he did, but I mean, that's up for you to interpret.
I guess if he did, I hate the kid a little bit less, but oh my god, like I was like rooting for Rainn Wilson to fucking kill that kid, like it really was.
Because there was this a sheriff character who he's sort of in and out of the film just to give an air that there's some police activity in this movie. He's more there to put to put a light on Rainn Wilson's character, because Rainn Wilson throughout the film already has this sort of air of like, is he going to kill this kid and his family? Like, he's really a huge red herring in the movie. So when Rainn Wilson falls through that pit and basically dies, like that's what I think at the end it might get on him, might get caught or something, or maybe not. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
No, you're probably right. He probably got like stabbed by something because no, I mean there was a scene where the dad shot the deer, so I was thinking, oh, maybe the kid shot him, like, and because They didn't have to show it. It was like
I
a
think
flashback.
the kid would do a backflip if he used that gun because he.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
father told him how to cut. You know what I mean? How to cut open the deer and stuff like that. He didn't tell him how to shoot. So I would assume he wouldn't even know how to use that gun.
Yeah.
But Rainn Wilson's character obviously is dealt with at the end. But I'm trying to wonder because at the very end of the film, what happens?
When he burns the fucking place.
The prom
there's like a
place.
prom, and the scummy fucking high school students like are just partying, and one of them beats the shit out of a little kid, which was amazing. I was so happy seeing that
Such
scene.
an obnoxious. That kid is so obnoxious. If anybody else had done that, that would have been fine. But it was just he was such a douche. But I guess that's why.
I mean,
it
that's
makes
the
sense that
payoff.
he would
You
be
get
the
to
one
see
that
them
did it because
burn.
he was a dick.
You get to see them burn, which is a great payoff.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
even the people that were like telling him not to beat up the kid, like they're still partying and having fun. Like if I saw somebody beat up a little kid, I would be like leaving or calling the cops on the person or something. Of course, you know that's
What was
without
with that
knowing that this kid's a sociopath. What?
What was with that ritualistic wearing the deer horns and in his undershorts burning the houses down? You would assume the kids would break out those windows and just jump out because they kind of just stayed inside because the windows aren't.
Well, they were all fucking drunk and shit, though. Like,
Yeah,
think if
I
they're
mean, 'cause
all
you did
like
hear
totally
them burning
racist.
and stuff like that and screaming. It is a really effective final scene and it is haunting. This kid does that, but it makes you wonder: does he get away with it? Because they obviously set it up for some sort of sequel or some sort of bizarre
they
ending.
left it off like he's going to Florida. I mean, I think eventually they'll find.
Rainn Wilson.
No, because they'll find Rainn Wilson, but they're not going to know, oh, the little kid lowered him there. It's not like they have, like, security cameras at this, like, shitty little fucking junkyard, so they're just going to think, oh, what was he doing around here? He's trying to get his car, and he fell in a hole or something. Like, they're not going to, like, know, like, how it happened, so they'll just think that this guy wandered around, died, maybe there was, like, some weird freak fire or something, and then the kid will go to Florida and eventually get caught when he's
What
like
are the
30.
positive aspects of this film for you? What worked for you with this movie?
I mean, all the acting is really good, including a little kid, because I fucking hate him.
The only acting
like,
that I thought was bad was the Asian guy, the drunk Asian guy, because he was
Drunk?
like, "Hey,
Oh,
have
right.
a drink," and I was like, "That's the only one that stuck out for me." And I was like, "Oh man, he must have like, I don't know what happened. He must."
You were
fucking
just
been
upset
doing-
after you got food poisoning from those dumplings.
Thanks for that. Anyway, I think it worked pretty much for the most part. David Morse is a really good actor in this film, kind of playing this beaten, guy who has a.
He really
left
is
in his
pathetic,
soul.
and his face is like such a sad. Even in Dancer in the Dark, when he's like the biggest scumbag, like he always has this like pathetic look on his face that you feel sad for him.
Yeah, he always looks like a guy who's being like held down by some invisible force, like just right. You know, it's just he's always pushed down, and that's why he like puts misery upon other people. Like,
Yeah,
there's a
well, that's
part
in
when-
Dancer in the Dark. That's like his whole thing. He's got his face in bad luck, and he's just fucking over this poor girl.
Because
Like,
he's
it's
so
horrible.
he's so miserable. The part where his son gets his ass whipped, and he comes into the room, and I think he knows that his son is weird, and he's
Right.
like, he's more pathetic, and he's not more enraged to go kick go kick people. Even if your son did something wrong, you would the first thing you'd probably do would go and confront people that kick your child's ass, like adults that
Yeah,
kick your kid's
yeah,
ass.
I
You
would
know what
hope
And
so.
he's more pathetic, and he's like, you shouldn't do. So you must obviously have a lot of problems with this kid fucking with the guests.
And he needs money too.
Yeah, true. Because the motel is like pretty much dead. That's why that asshole kid who threatens him.
Because
Because
most people, if like I know for me, if some fucking little shit high school student threatened to leave or something, I would definitely like let them leave or like punch him. Like the way he was talking to him, it was so rude. I wanted to kill that kid.
Yeah,
I was glad when he got set on fire. I was.
We do see a lot of aspects of the kid's just his weirdness and how he's been growing up alone pretty much the whole time. He has no interaction. I don't know if he doesn't go to school or anything. I guess not. I have no idea. Or it is
I
maybe
don't
because
know.
it's summertime.
Never thought
I
about
would-
that.
I
Yeah,
would
it's probably the
assume-
summertime. Yeah, but I mean, how many people could really be in this town? So far, it's like there's like a couple of students from a high school nearby, and then there's like, like a fucking junkyard and one cop, and that seems to be about it.
Because there's that other random family that comes by and visits, I guess takes up a room at the hotel, and he nearly drowns the other son after they have like such a nice little hangout session with each other. I don't
And
know
that
whether
guy is from Under the Dome. He's like the main character.
I don't know whether that do you think they were implying any sort of like sexuality in that scene, or it was just more
Well,
of a kid
between the
longing?
kid?
Yeah, because you know how they kind of do that with every film. They sort of like put some, or maybe it's just what's implied or what people pull from it. But the part when he's putting his head on the other kid's chest and stuff like that.
No, I didn't get that. I mean,
Oh, you didn't get turned on by that? Okay. Anyway.
No, I didn't get turned on by that. I was thinking
yeah.
it was just more like him trying to be a normal kid.
Yeah, I think the kid did really well for the film. Like,
yeah, most kid actors suck. I mean, this would have been a good Anakin, showing this kind of development in Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, actually, yeah, he would have been. But I think that's what works. I think Jared does a really good job in this film. Jared Breeze does a good job as Ted Henley. Just having the nuances of having that off look on his eye, because I'm sure the kid isn't like this in real life. I hope not, because he's got real problems.
I hope not.
It's sort of like when people talk about like Nicolas Cage acting crazy in movies. Like, do you think Nicolas Cage really is like that in real life? Yes.
I think actually Nicolas Cage is supposed to be really weird in real life. I've heard.
He owns castles, and his son is a rock and roll goth.
Well, owning castles is fucking badass. I hope to do that too one day.
You should see his son. His son sort of looks like a young Alice Cooper because he actually goes to his father's movie premieres with white, like, corpse makeup. You know, that white
That's
makeup?
awesome.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, but yeah, I like the film. I think it does move slow, so I'm a hypocrite when I complain about it with Goodnight Mommy, but in here I don't really complain about it, although it is a very long film. It is like nearly 2 hours long.
Yeah, I mean, I get why
really
it moves slow, but I mean... Ooh, they could have, like, thrown in one or two more things, or, like, shortened it by, like, 20 minutes, you know.
And I told you why we keep mentioning Goodnight Mommy so much, and this is sort of a spoiler. This is a spoiler for Goodnight Mommy as well, because they both end in similar fashions, with burning down people to death. And, the kids in Goodnight Mommy burn their house down with somebody inside of it, and this kid burns down, his dad, basically, and a bunch of, like, teenagers to
put a
add,
little
like,
spoiler
really
alert for Goodnight Mommy on this too.
Yeah, I just said that. So I think they're sort of universal, and I think they pretty much complement each other, really, because they are killer
They're
kid
different.
films.
They're very different.
They're different in tone, but they do have that art house sort of feel to them. With that, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10, just because I like how it was executed. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Taking Rainn Wilson's ashes and mocking him, and while he chases you, he falls into a pit and gets impaled.
Okay, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Seeing that your kid was beaten up and grabbing him and shaking him and saying, "When you run this place, you gotta please the customers," and begging him with your eyes to just behave so these kids will pay money for the prom.
That's right. Remember, money over your children. That's
money over your children getting their ass kicked by teenagers.
And then you end up getting a permanent suntan after that when you go to sleep. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Shine sprites.
The horror deconstruction.